Hello everyone, today I'm doing a video on the making of my Meg cosplay. The costume part isn't really a tutorial, it's just sort of briefly showing you how I made it because I'm not an expert with sewing and everything, so I just thought I'd just show you some snippets of what I do. But the makeup part is the tutorial part, so yeah. To start, I'm just dyeing my bedsheet. That is what I chose to use for the main part of my dress. I'm dyeing it with the Dye-On Lilac dye, which just comes in a pod, and then you just put it in your washing machine and then it just dyes it all for you, basically. This is how the colour came out on the bedsheet. So I'm just starting off with sewing the sleeves together. I kind of just folded the material in half and then sewed it together with two seams down each side. This is the first time I use a sewing machine as well, so just like bear with me. And then I'm also sewing like the seam together of the dress. The dress doesn't actually have much to it, it's literally just what I showed you, just the sewing of the seam and the straps, and then that's pretty much it. But the added parts, which is what I'm doing right now, which is the bit that sits on the hip bone, what I did is I folded my piece of ribbon in half, which is what I'm sewing together, because of the fact that it wasn't really thick enough for my liking, so I wanted it to be a bit thicker. But for the under boob ribbon, I literally just kept it the same size because it was already thick enough for it, so it's okay. As you'll see in the next clip, I sort of sewed the ribbon off the centre a little bit just to make it that little bit wider. Now I'm moving on to the brooches on her dress. I've just covered the badges in cling film and now I'm just layering newspaper and glue to actually form the shape of the brooches. And also I wanted to make them a little bit bigger than the badges as well, which is why I go in with a couple of layers. Now we are layering the brooches with tissue and glue. This just makes it a little bit easier to mould because the tissue is a lot softer, and also it sets a white base for the paint. Now I'm just cutting a hole in the back of the brooch. I originally was actually going to pull it out of the paper mache, but I realised that it probably would break it and also it would just be a lot more work that is kind of unnecessary because I probably won't reuse the badge. So yeah, I just end up cutting around the pin so that I can just pin it on my dress. Now we're on to the painting part. I decided to paint them in gold because I thought it looked really nice and it just makes them look more like an actual brooch because they'll be shiny. But yeah, and then for the orange part, like the little orange swirl, which I'll get to in a second, I just mixed orange and the gold just so it kind of blended a little bit better in with the gold background, and also so that the swirl will also be a little bit shiny like the gold background as well. Now we're moving on to the hair. I'm literally just brushing through just so it makes it a lot softer and easier to work with. And then what I decided to do was sort of make a beehive on top, but I don't actually show it because I wasn't really sure what I was going to do with it, because it was actually first in a ponytail, but then the ponytail was too short, so I decided to sort of manipulate a ponytail. So yeah, so I ended up doing the beehive off camera because I needed some assistance, because I just was like, I don't know what to do. But yeah, but I'm showing you how I curl the wig, because I didn't actually know how to curl a wig, but you have to actually let it set or it just will drop completely, like the curl will just be non-existent. So I do that by literally just like letting the hair fall, as you can see, and then just twisting it back up and then just pinning it to the head. And then it also makes it a lot easier because it gets all the hair out the way. So yeah. So for the fringe, I'm literally just backcombing the fringe that's already on this wig, and then I try and sort of swoop it to the side as much as I can, while also pushing it a little bit forward, because that's kind of how hers looks. And then I grab some hair gel in a minute just so it properly holds, because it just kind of keeps falling even though I've backcombed it. But yeah. So now I'm just continuing to curl the hair. I just do things in some random order, so I think I got a bit bored of curling the hair, so I was like, I'm just going to do the fringe. So now I'm back to curling the hair and using the same technique. For the bottom part of the hair, I'm actually doing something a little bit different. I am doing the same technique at the start, but then only clipping the hair to the kind of bottom and also only to itself, so that the curl isn't as tight as the rest, because I just wanted it to just be a little bit wavy at the bottom, and then the top part is more to sort of frame the face, I guess. I'm not really sure, I just know it works basically. I think by doing the curls lower down and then doing tight curls at the top sort of makes like a V shape, so like it's more volume at the top and then less at the bottom, which you'll see in the clip when I show you the finish of the hair. But for now I'm just taking out all the waves, which is really satisfying. I don't brush out the waves, I just finger comb them because they can go a bit frizzy, and also you might lose some of the waves as well if you brush through them. I also forgot to mention that I actually added a band in the wig. I don't know why I forgot about that, but I literally just used my old college student ID and cut it and then just wrapped it around and just pinned it in the back because it was literally the perfect colour. But yeah, here is the finished look of the wig. So next we're moving on to the makeup part. Those first clips were just me complaining about my skin and also the fact that I can't see if I'm in focus without putting on my glasses. So here we are again, blocking out my eyebrows, which I'm still not good at, but this is definitely probably the best I've done. I scooped the glue onto my spatula and then just like pushed it onto my eyebrows, and I think it helped them lay down a lot better, and also actually cleaned them up, which helped with the makeup going on my skin a lot better rather than just leaving excess glue around my eyebrows. Now I'm just patting on loose powder with a cotton pad, and then I am just then sweeping it all off with a powder brush. Then I'm using the e.l.f. 16 Hour Camouflage Concealer and I'm just patting that on with a flat brush. Then I'm applying L'Oreal's True Match Foundation all over my face and over my eyelids as well. Then I'm applying Collection's Lasting Perfection Concealer around my eyes and also on my blemishes. Then I'm using L'Oreal's True Match Powder and just powdering my whole face. For my bronzer, I'm just using this bronze and highlighter kit from Collection. I'm also using the same bronzer to just contour my nose. Then I'm mixing these two colours from a sleek blush palette and then just applying that to the apples of my cheeks. Then I just apply some setting spray. Shortly after, I'm doing my eyebrows, which I'm just using a brown eyeshadow. Doesn't really matter which one. I apply some water to my brush and then dip it into the eyeshadow just to make the colour a bit more stronger as well. And it also makes the application a little bit more precise when it's sort of like a creamy consistency when you mix the water in. Then for eyeshadow, I'm just applying this lilac colour from the NYX colour palette. I'm just applying that all over my eyelids and also underneath my lash line as well. Then I'm going in with a dark purple and just putting that on the outer part of my eyes and also a little bit underneath my lash line and in my crease. And then I'm going in with the darkest purple shade and then just going on the lash line and then just a little bit on the outer corners of my eyes. Then I tightline my eyes with a black eye pencil from Collection and then I also put a little bit on my waterline as well. For my wing, I'm using NYX Epic Ink Liner and then shortly after I create like a cat eye on the inner corners of my eye as well. I applied my mascara off camera, but now I'm just putting some more black eyeliner onto my waterline and then smudging it out with some black eyeshadow. I struggled to find what shade of lipstick I wanted to put on. I put on about 5, so I didn't actually have a clip of me putting on the lipstick, so I couldn't decide. So this is the final look. I really hope you enjoyed this video and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!